Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue the music theory series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/music theory. Today I'm going to show you how to make better guitar melodies using plugins so you don't have to pick up a real guitar. So the first thing is understanding chords. So let's start off with the chord foundation and then I'll show you how to add the melody stuff on top. Let's right click, go to piano roll. And if you ever get lost, I'll give you the project files for the melody or the whatever we create today. And you could just go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory. I'll leave all the links below so you don't get lost. So the first thing, I'll just play a random chord. So in this case, we're playing D, F, A. So that's D minor. You don't need to memorize the names of these chords. We're just giving you the foundational reference. Let me cut these extra lengths here. So we have D, F, A. And I'll show you a trick to guitar that is a little bit different because we're not used to having instruments that are voiced differently than a piano. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this middle note and pull it up an octave. So we're going to hit Control up. And it gives it a different what's called voicing. So instead of this, where all the notes and frequencies are the same, we're going to pull up this middle note so that we have 3 different frequency ranges. So think of it like frequencies. If you have too many frequencies stacked up, it gets a little blurry. Not that it's wrong, but it just gets a little blurry. So now let's make E our top note. Now in this case, I'm going to show you how to make let's do a D minor 9 just to see what it sounds like. Now this is very jazzy, okay? And let's do something here. Let's give it a little rhythm. Just gonna move this note to the left. So, dun, dun. Okay, we need to speed it up. There we go. Now remember, in real guitar, they need time to switch chords. So you're not going from chord directly to another chord. That's not realistic. Now we're not trying to make the most realistic thing here. I'm just giving you the little anecdotes. So let's pull this down an octave to see where it would fit. And let's start moving notes around. Now that dark note I don't like. I do like the E down this way though. So let's do something. It's kind of like, I want to say Legos, but I'm not sure that's the best analogy. We're just taking one Lego and moving it to the other side, but we still use the same amount. I guess we just had the right voicing. It just sounds good. There's nothing really to change. Now what I'm going to do is use a 3-note chord, G, B, D. Now in this case, D, pull this down, that should be the 3rd. So that would be what? B, D, let's do major, or excuse me, minor. Now my ear wants to hear D as the top note, but the problem is, remember this top note is not the top note of the original chord, so it's the 3rd of something. So let's try some things. Let's pull that top note down. Okay, so we pulled the 5th down. It sounds kind of, whatever. Let's switch it to a major. Try the same thing. Take this top note, pull it down. That's cooler. Okay, so it depends on what kind of style. Now I like this E. But you see how we're pulling notes down and up. So we're pulling the 5th down and we're taking the 3rd up. So that's kind of the formula, so to speak, for this chord progression. Again, voicing is a customizable thing. There's no right or wrong way to voice anything. This is just what works for this specific chord progression. Okay, so even if you wanted to add that D tone, you could add it an octave down. Okay. Okay, so again, we're using this formula. So again, we have to work backwards. So let's say A is our middle note for the chord. We're going to go F, A, C, which is F major. Let's pull the top note down. Okay, so now we have like a happy guitar. And let's group these. Let's hit Control G. So I'm showing you cool ways to make your chord sound unique. Now in this case, I want to keep the E the top note, so let's pull this G down. Now I want to pull that down, and I want to make it more lush. So I'm just adding notes. So this will make it F major with this an F up top. So I'm going to extend this. I know I'm talking kind of music theory and ease, but I'm just looking at the range of notes. It goes from about D to G. So it's from here to here. Okay, so now we need to add these in-between notes. And what we can do is take the note. So we're going from this chord to this chord. So what I'm going to do, the in-between notes, we're going to take the notes from this chord or the next chord and place them right after we strike the first chord. So we're warming the ear up to get ready for the next chord. So let's do C and E. Okay, so it's now only, in my opinion, I would only add passing notes where they're needed. You don't have to add them in between every single chord. And a little trick is to extend those notes. Okay, so here's another trick I meant to mention. If the note gets close, just hit Control G. So you're playing the chord a little bit early. So like right here, now because I have a gap, I'm not going to join these notes, but if I were to have passing notes and the note in between was C, I would join the notes. So again, looking at the next chord, taking 2 notes from there. Now again, it's kind of redundant to play 2 notes back to back, so we're just going to group these notes hitting Control G and then extend those notes. Okay, so I'm taking notes from the next chord, which would be the F up top. Too much of a jump, I think. So again, group the notes that are similar. And in this last chord, I'm just going to drag it out. Okay, so now we're going to hit Shift up to transpose the key. Okay, so now it's just a matter of like which guitar effects you want on your guitar. There's a gazillion effects. I forgot I even had Guitar Rig on. So let's go to styles. Let's go to, what we're gonna do here. Let's do jazz, it's a little bit softer. As I pick the most aggressive distortion. So that way we can kind of blend the melody in with the chords. That's the real key. Now, if you want like an FL hotkey, I'll give you one last thing here. It sounds dope. I just don't know what is causing that. This sounds fire. I forgot what I was even going to show you. So if you hit Alt A and change your range to 1 and change your time multiplier, you can. Now, is it realistic? You know, it's up for debate. But you can slow down the BPM. So let's just mess with this real quick. You can also mess with the range. But again, the arpeggio style is kind of, it's either you use it or you don't. Let's use this one and just slow the beat down a bit. think it's kind of stop and go-ish. I like the movement in the beginning, but it's a little too stop and go-ish. So let's go back to let's go back. So don't be afraid to shift your key. Here, just hit shift up or down. I like this key. Let's see what happens if I pull this A sharp down or B flat. I like this voicing better. That A kind of took us out of it. So that's how you blend chords and melody at the same time and make it sound realistic. Again, you could hit shift up or shift down to transpose the key. It's a cool key. And again, you don't have to use quarter timing. You could use triplet timing if you want to change it up. All right, so we could play that for days, but that's how you blend chords and melody. So that's why I said there's a lot to learn about music theory, especially melody. Melody goes deeper than just the actual single notes. You have to learn harmonization. So go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory to learn a lot more. Thanks for watching. Smash the like button. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com.